to get him mad. And I guess they did it. He's been pitching much better since coming back. Although they would have kept him in the minor leagues a little bit longer. They really wanted him to get mad. He's been a good, solid major league pitcher since coming up a couple years ago.
He's only 26 years old. And the payoff pitch on the way to Henderson, hit in the air, left center field, way back towards the wall. That's a gunner! A leadoff home run for Ricky Henderson. And the Mets take an instant 1-0 lead.
Shades of the old Ricky Henderson when he would get a fastball and hit the ball over the wall. He leads it off here tonight against Brett Tomko and hits a fastball over the left center field fence. 4th home run of the season for Henderson. Greatest leadoff hitter in the history of the game. He jumps on this pitch. Tomko challenged him, and as one of his teammates said, attaboy, Rick.
So Henderson with his 4th home run of the year. Edgardo Alfonso takes ball 1.
Well, the Reds been trying to get Tomko to pitch inside. He went out over the plate, and Henderson went out and raked it over the left center field wall.
Well, Ricky Henderson is the all-time major league leader with leadoff home runs. 74 now for Ricky. He hit 1 last year. That was on the 14th of September at Kansas City. So 74 times now in Ricky Henderson's career, he's led off a ball game with a home run. And the 2-0 pitch on the way outside.
Well, so far outside has been where Tomko's been throwing the ball to the first 2 hitters. Don Gullet wants him to throw outside, but also inside. Henderson hit a fastball that was outside. Now there's a pitch inside.
So Edgardo Alfonso draws a walk. Our umpires tonight brought to you by NAM, National Arbitration and Mediation, the most timely, cost-effective way to settle your legal disputes. Joe West calls the balls and strikes with Angel Hernandez at first, Larry Vanover at second, and a homeboy of sorts, Randy Marsh, the crew chief, the umpire at third. Randy Marsh from just across the river here in Covington, Kentucky. Ricky Henderson doing what he's done so well for so long, igniting the offense early. And now John Olerud. Olerud batting at .313 despite being in a slump for most of the last month. Over his last 19 games, John Olerud only 15 for 72. That's a .208 average during that time, but still batting .313 for the season.
He talks about keeping his balance. When he's not swinging the bat well, he's off balance. Also, he lacks aggressiveness. Like anybody that goes into a slump, they become passive at the plate. They take pitches they ordinarily hit, and they swing at pitches that are not hittable.
1-0 to Olerud. He's in for a strike. Remember last year, Fran, at this time, Olerud was in a pretty prolonged slump when the Mets were going to Toronto, his former major league home, and Bobby Valentine was going to keep him out of the lineup, decided at the last second to get him in there. And that's when he started to bust out big time. En route to a .354 average last season.
Well, it is very important, as Bobby Valentine and all managers in baseball feel today, that you have to rest everybody. Keep in mind Mike Piazza's on deck. He rested last night, and he's been swinging a hot bat, but he told Bobby Valentine that he was getting tired, and Bobby said, "You're off tomorrow."
Fly ball, well hit, deep right field. Tucker takes a look. Cameron heading back. That's a gunner. John Olerud with his 11th home run of the year. The Mets are leading 3-0. Well, Bobby Valentine's going away for 2 days because of his suspension. The Mets are giving him a little going away present, at least here in the first inning. A couple of home runs, one from Olerud, and now, as well as Ricky Henderson, the Mets have a 3-0 lead.
So John Olerud, who's been struggling with the bat, goes down and uppercuts his ball. Hit a towering fly ball, and he knew it was gone. A 2-run dinger, his 11th of the season. Tomko's first pitch to Piazza goes inside because Don Gullett and Jack McKeon want that ball inside. If he keeps throwing the ball out over the plate, he's not going to stay in this ball game.
Up and in with a fastball. It's 2-0 to Piazza, who brings a 17-game hitting streak to the plate.
Yeah, we were talking about hitting streaks last night. We were talking about catchers hitting streaks. Jason Kendall with a hitting streak this year. Ed Taubensee, Mike Piazza, Pudge Rodriguez.
It's foul to the right side. 2-1.
But I guess the longest by a catcher would have to be the one we talked about last night, Benito Santiago, who hit in 34 consecutive games as a rookie with the San Diego Padres.
Well, the night of rest evidently helped Olerud and Piazza as well. This one's long gone. 3 home runs in the inning. 4-0 New York as Piazza tees off. And it's batting practice for the Mets here at Cinergy Field. Bobby's thinking, you know, these one-night rest jobs might not be such a bad idea.
Either that or the excitement of me getting suspended excited the players.
Henderson, Olerud, and Piazza have all gone deep. 4 Mets have come to the plate. They've all touched home plate.
And the Reds have nobody up. They haven't had time to get anybody up. Piazza just clobbered a pitch off Brett Tomko for a home run.
In another era, Brian McRae would be an endangered species by now, but he takes a pitch at the knees for strike 1.
And Piazza getting ahead of the bat out there. He knew it was gone. So 3 home runs in the first inning here in Cincinnati, the second game of this 3-game set.
Up and in, 1-1. Fran, you know there are several pitchers throughout the history of baseball who, had they given up 3 home runs to the first 4 batters they faced, would probably take it out on the number 5 hitter. But right now it's 1-1 on Brian McRae. That's low. 2-1.
Although more hitters are being hit by pitches today than ever before. How about that for a stat? Surprising.
If you would ever expect a pitcher to get a little ornery, it would be right about now, but Tomko showing no signs of that. So the 2-1 to McRae, and that evens the count.
And think of the reasoning behind what you're talking about, Howie.
I never thought there was any sensible reason to it.
3 guys hit home runs, so what do? You throw at a guy who hasn't hit a home run. Throw at a guy who's hit one.
And the 2-2 pitch on the way, swung on and missed. And Tomko gets the sarcastic round of applause as he finally records an out. Well, you've seen most of the Met lineup. Let's take a look at the rest of it. After Brian McRae, Matt Franco will get the start tonight. He's giving Ventura a rest. That could mean some good things for Ventura tomorrow based on what we've seen here in the first inning. Cedeno, Ordonez, and Reed behind Franco in the Mets batting order. Make that an 18-game hitting streak now for Piazza. 0-1 to Matt Franco. Matt has 7 hits in his last 17 at-bats. Alfonso didn't connect because he couldn't get the bat around. He drew a walk. 1-1 now to Franco.
Well, Mike Piazza connected. So did John Olerud and Ricky Henderson. So if you're going to throw at anybody, throw at somebody that hit a home run.
Well, I'm not suggesting that Tomko or anyone should.
You're a violent guy.
I'm simply pointing out that there was a time when guys like you were putting down the finger for the flip.
Not me. I didn't have any guts. I didn't want them to retaliate.
Swung on and missed. 2 balls, 2 strikes now to Franco. Come on, you must have called at least one dust job during your career. Yeah,
but usually we would be reacting to one of our players being thrown at. I did it for Mr. McKeon.
On request from Jack?
One time we had a disagreement about that.
Franco hits it well left field. Greg Vaughn drifting back. And on the edge of the warning track makes the catch 2 men away.
Well, defensively for the Reds, they haven't had a chance. 3 home runs in this inning, but you got Casey, Reese, Larkin, and Boone in the infield. Vaughn, Cameron, and Tucker left to right in the outfield. Taubensee behind the plate. Pretty good fielding percentage by Barry Larkin.
Larkin with a 2,000 vote lead over Ray Ordonez for starting shortstop spot for this year's All-Star game to be played at Fenway Park in Boston. Roger Cedeno swings and misses. Mike Piazza, by the way, leading all National League catchers by a healthy margin. Piazza a little less than 300,000 votes ahead of Jason Kendall of the Pirates. And Cedeno fouls it back, 0-2.
Roger Cedeno is hitting .327 from the first slot in the batting order, the third highest average among 36 players in the majors, with at least 75 at bats from that #1 position. But tonight he's not batting #1.
On the inside corner, Roger Cedeno strikes out. So the first 4 Mets to bat all score. The next 3 were retired, but bang, bang, bang. Henderson, Olerud, and Piazza, 4-0 New York. Tucked in his back pocket, Rick Reed will face this Cincinnati lineup presented by their manager Jack McKeon. Pokey Reese leading off at second. In fact, it's the same lineup the Reds used last night with Reese, Tucker, Casey, Vaughn, Larkin, Toppensee, Cameron Boone, and this time Brett Tomko in the pitcher slot. Reds used the long ball last night. The Mets answering in the first inning tonight, but Rick Reed is going to bear some watching. As Matt Loughlin explained on our pregame show, Rick Reed took ill yesterday with what the Mets think is either a urinary infection or perhaps a kidney stone. They put Reed on some medication. He saw the doctor yesterday, actually last night, and the Mets basically have told Alan Watson, be prepared just in case.
Yeah, Reed had a heating pad on his back during the course of the ball game last night.
Bouncing ball by Reese. Ordonez going to have to hurry.
Oh.
And he got him.
You know, it's a lot easier to slide when you're on a natural surface. Ordonez going through the air and sliding on the artificial turf. Watch him bounce up. Now he's got to do it quickly because Reese can fly. Reese is having to find you at the bat. Bang, he bounces up, gets the grab, throws it across the infield. He had the proper grip on the ball and gets Reese at first base.
Probably skinned his knee a little.
Oh, absolutely. Pokey Reese has to be impressed with that play.
Pokey Reese is a pretty fast guy, but Ordonez still had him by a step, and now it's Michael Tucker. And Tucker, first ball hitting, shoots it on one hop to Olerud, and quickly 2 men away.
Howie, on that play, I believe that one of the reasons Ordonez bounced up so fast was because of Reese's speed. As you see, Olerud, Alfonso, Ordonez, and Matt Franco in the infield. Henderson, McRae, Cedeno left to right in the outfield. Cedeno leads the team with 6 outfield assists. You see Piazza behind the plate. So Roger Cedeno has found a home in New York.
Sean Casey certainly has found a home here in Cincinnati, leading the National League in hitting. Takes ball 1 from Reed. Casey with that .375 mark, tops in the National League. He's 3rd in the league in hits with 84.
We have to be most impressed with the 12 home runs, because a lot of the baseball experts weren't sure if he'd hit home runs. But he's a big, strong guy. He hits for a solid average, and eventually the ball would carry.
Fouled back by Casey.
So Casey could hit 30 home runs this year. Brett Tomko doesn't like home run.
He's been stewing ever since he got back to the dugout after giving up those 3 home runs in the first inning. He has yet to sit down and try to get comfortable. Even if he sits for a minute, he bounces right back up.
Maybe he's starting to think like Howie Rose, I should drill somebody.
No, don't misquote me here. All I'm saying is there was a time when certain pitchers would have been inclined to do that.
You're right.
The 2-1 to Casey. And the changeup hits the outside corner. So 2 balls, 2 strikes now on the Reds' first baseman. Casey, one of the more affable personalities in the game. Always has a smile and a hello, whether he knows you or not. 2 balls, 2 strikes still. Been in a bit of a batting slump lately. 3 for his last 20 and still hitting .375. He was at a high of .393 before he went into this mini slump. And now the 2-2 from Reed, fouled away again. So Bobby Valentine told Alan Watson yesterday during the game, be prepared in case Reed can't make it tomorrow. And even with all of that knowledge, Bobby asked Watson if he'd feel comfortable pitching an inning last night in relief, which he did. So Watson's ready to go in case Reed should run into any health-related difficulties.
That's an invaluable pitcher when he can pitch last night and be ready today. Most pitchers are so sensitive about that. They would be offended if they were in last night's ball game and had to come in today. But boy, it really increases your value if you have that rubber arm like Alan Watson.
So Reed has a full count to Casey with 2 out and nobody on. And the fastball fouled deep down the left field line. Rick Reed has not won in a little over a month. His last victory was in Denver against the Colorado Rockies on the 12th of May. Since then, he's gone 0-2 with 3 no decisions, but he's been able to work at least 6 innings every game. Remember, he had that calf injury going back to spring training. He's found his endurance. His control has not been as pinpoint as it's been in the past, and there's another example.
Yeah, he's walked a little more than 3 hitters a game. Very unusual, inconsistent for Reed. In fact, Reed over the past little over 2 years has won 32 games for the Mets. Nobody would have predicted that when the Mets decided to put Rick Reed on the major league roster, but he better be careful here. The ball is jumping tonight, and this guy can hit him as far as anybody.
Just this past weekend, Greg Vaughn hit one 428 feet into the red seats, the upper deck here at Cinergy Field. And he had one of those upper deck swings there, but fouls it back, nothing in one.
Vaughn has real good rips at the fastball. We'll see if Reed comes back with a breaking ball. When you're ahead in a count with Vaughn, you make him more of a defensive hitter when you throw the breaking ball over the plate. But that goes for just about anybody. If you throw a good breaking ball when you're ahead on the count, hitters will take more of a defensive swing. Vaughn with 195 at-bats this year, and he's got 46 hits.
That's a setup on the outside part of the plate. The fastball comes back right over the heart of the plate, taken for a strike. It's 0-2. And the 0-2 pitch just off the outside corner.
Vaughn's got to be looking since the first pitch for something other than the fastball, because he just took 2 pretty good pitches.
Let's play Vaughn as a pull hitter on the infield. That's Alfonso, the second baseman, pretty close to the bag with Ordonez well into the hole. It's in there for a called strike 3. So Reed freezes Vaughn to end the inning. No runs, no hits, and a walk. 4-0. New York playing home run derby in the top of the first.
Well, all fastballs. Brett Tomko in the first inning threw a fastball. Ricky Henderson out over the plate. He hits the ball over the left center field fence. Then John Olerud, a towering drive over the right center field fence. And then once again, Mike Piazza impressing everybody with his power. So 3 home runs and 4 runs in the first.
Ray Ordonez goes after the first pitch. Fly ball center field. Mike Cameron settles under and quickly 1 away. So the good news for Brett Tomko is he's retired 4 in a row after the damage we just showed you.
You know, it's amazing when you're a catcher like Mike Piazza. He hit a long home run, but when he's out there now catching Rick Reed, you have that 4-run cushion, and you call a different game. You can give it different targets. You don't have to have it right on the corner. You can move it in a little bit.
On the outside corner, the pitcher Rick Reed. Ball's 1 strike.
It just changes the atmosphere so much of a ball game, especially early in the game before the defense goes out in the field.
Reed went for a pitch in Ray Ordonez's zone, or at least what Ray would think is Ray Ordonez's zone. 0-2. And on 3 pitches, Reed is down on strikes. So Tomko gets 2 quick ones here in the second, and Ricky Henderson will bat.
A lot of people feel Tomko has the best stuff as a starting pitcher on the Cincinnati Red Ball Club. He had a couple good seasons this year, got off to a slow start, as we mentioned, ended up in the minor leagues, but he can rear back and throw that fastball by you. He has a good breaking ball. It's a split finger pitch.
Inside 1-0 on Henderson.
Ricky is strong. The way he hit that ball in the first inning, ball was out over the plate. He took that short, compact stroke.
Fly ball, short center, Cameron in, out goes Reese, and it's the second baseman, Pokey Reese, to make the catch. So the Mets go in order. Actually, Tomko has retired 6 in a row, but 3 first-inning homers make it 4-0 Mets. The 4-0 lead. Every one of those pitchers from left to right, Al Leiter, Oral Hershiser, Jason Isringhausen, probably saying something to themselves like, boy, how come they don't hit 3 home runs in 1 inning for me?
I think Oral Hershiser is talking curveball right there.
Barry Larkin takes ball 1. Larkin with a home run in last night's game.
Talk about the rotation on a curveball.
A lot of pitching experience on the left and middle of that screen. Al Leiter, and in particular Oral Hershiser.
Hershiser's had a solid career. Al Leiter with 17 wins last year. Hershiser throwing the ball very well now for the Mets after a shaky start.
2 balls, 1 strike now on Larkin. Larkin with 5 hits in his last 12 at bats. Fly ball, center field, and Cedeno. Pardon me, Brian McRae backed up by Cedeno, but McRae taking Ordonez lessons to make that catch. 1 away. Mets fans, Thursday, June 24th is a Senior Citizens Day game. Fans 60 and over can buy mezzanine reserve seats for just $1, and their accompanying guests pay only $10. Tickets must be purchased at Shea Stadium on the day of the game. Florida Marlins will be in next Thursday. Eddie Taubensee had a 16-game hitting streak stopped last night. He goes first ball hitting and shoots one right to Henderson. So a couple of fly balls, 1 to McRae, 1 to Henderson. And Reed has the first 2 here in the second. That'll bring up Mike Cameron. So the curveball, the topic of discussion, the guy charting tonight, Jason Isringhausen, certainly has one of the better curveballs when it's on. As the Mets starting pitchers.
One of the few knuckle curveball pitchers in the major leagues. I asked him, why does he throw the knuckle curveball as opposed to the regular curveball? He said the first thing he was taught as a pitcher was the knuckle curveball, and he stayed with it.
And yet, to the naked eye, Mike Cameron takes one off the outside corner there, so it's 1 ball, 1 strike. But to the naked eye, you just look at, let's say, Bobby Jones when he's throwing that over the top, that 12-6 hook. That pitch and Isringhausen's knuckle curve. What's the difference?
Just the grip of the ball.
Foul back, right? The grip of the ball to the pitcher, but to the fan, to the broadcaster with the naked eye, it has pretty much the same look and same effect, right?
Yeah, and you know, to me, it would be easier to throw the curveball the way Bobby Jones throws the curveball, but Jason Isringhausen is comfortable throwing a knuckle curveball. Right here, you should throw a curveball in the dirt. Cameron will chase it.
Reed throws a fastball and freezes him.
It was a perfect pitch for Cameron to hit. He must have been looking for the breaking ball in the dirt.
Well, Mike Cameron strikes out about as much as anybody in the National League. And this time he gets stuck with the bat on his shoulders. At Cinergy Field in Cincinnati, 4-0 New York on the strength of Henderson, Olerud, and Piazza's first inning home runs off of Brett Tomko, who since has settled in. He's retired the next 6. And now Alfonso takes on the inside corner from Tomko.
How about the construction in this area concerning the football stadium and next the baseball stadium? Brand new stadiums here in Cincinnati.
To the right side, the second baseman Reese throws out Alfonso, 1 away. The Reds hope to be in their new ballpark by the year 2003. That's still 4 years away. They have not broken ground on the new ballpark, but when they do, slowly, the left field stands here at Cinergy Field will disappear because the new ballpark is going to be built almost literally adjacent to this one. And so in order to make room for all the construction, they're going to have to dismantle Cinergy Field almost section by section, beginning in left field. The Reds will still be playing here at the time. 1-0 on John Olerud. Imagine this place opened not all that long ago, as stadiums go. Right around this time of year in 1970.
And it was considered state of the art.
Bad art.
Come on, you appreciated it back then.
No, I don't think anybody appreciated the aesthetics of so many of these places which look exactly alike. This ballpark, Three Rivers Stadium in Pittsburgh, Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia, very similar. The old Fulton County Stadium in Atlanta. They've done some marvelous things where the Mets are going next. Busch Stadium in St. Louis to restore a little bit more of a traditional baseball feel to it, not the least of which is taking out this dastardly artificial turf. And the 2-1 taken low. So Tomko behind Olerud, 3 balls and 1 strike.
If you play all your home games on artificial turf, it means at least 10 points to your batting average.
What about those knees? Fouled off by Olerud, a full count.
For infielders and outfielders, it takes its toll on your knees and your lower back. But for a catcher, it doesn't bother you at all.
Selfish.
Absolutely.
Give him dirt and he's happy. Fouled back by Olerud.
Another thing, when you
wait a minute, tell me you loved playing on that rug in Kansas City when it got to be about 150 degrees midsummer.
Well, when you're 25, 26 years old, the heat doesn't bother you. In fact, you enjoy it. I'll tell you another thing. On the artificial turf, you get better traction when you're running.
Fouled back, still a full count to Olerud.
So that gets you about a step or 2 quicker.
Of course, one of the ramifications can involve your health. What they tell you about salt tablets 25 years ago? They're great for you, right?
Well, it was funny. They told us, they said, take salt tablets when you play day games in Kansas City.
Swing and a miss. Foul tip, actually, that's held by the catcher Taubensee, 2 men away.
So, of course, I always felt more was better. So I took so many salt tablets. The salt would come out on my lips during the course of the ball game. It was incredible. Now you find out it's bad. It's bad for you.
Nothing bad about what Mike Piazza's done with his bat tonight or recently. Now an 18-game hitting streak after his first inning home run. The third of those dingers off of Tomko. Throws him a breaking ball.
Yeah, he hit a fastball, and the first pitch he sees is a breaking ball, second time up. Piazza looks extremely relaxed at the plate and rested.
Goes the other way. Reese in short center field. And the side retired. Well, you figure it out. Tomko is now retired 9 in a row after the first 4 Mets to bat scored. Dark as we go to the last of the 3rd inning. Aaron Boone, Brett Tomko, and Pokey Reese will face Rick Reed, who was really treated to a little explosion by the Mets in the first inning with 3 home runs. Now Reed has walked just 1 and struck out 2 without allowing a hit over the first couple of innings. And first man he'll face here will be one of last night's heroes for the Reds, Aaron Boone, who drove in 4 of their 8 runs. Aaron Boone with those 4 RBIs last night tied a career high as he continues his renaissance. Just as Tomko was the opening day starter for the Reds and wound up in the minor leagues. Well, Boone started the season here in Cincinnati. And in the middle of May, he went down to the minors. But he's hit .275 since coming up on the 25th of May, coming back, that is, to the Reds. Right here, Reed behind him. 1 ball, no strikes. Fastball low, 2-0. Rick Reed making his 11th start. No Met has pitched a complete game this year. No Met starter has pitched in the 9th inning this year. 2-1 now on Aaron Boone. And the count evens now. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Well, I wonder, Fran, how that's going to play out because of the Mets' depth and the versatility in their bullpen with guys able to pitch 2-3 days in a row. It's going to take an extraordinary effort, I would think, by a Mets starting pitcher. Low pitch count. Bobby Valentine and Dave Wallace to allow a Mets pitcher to work into the 9th inning.
Well, certainly they're not going to be used to it.
In there for a called strike 3. That's 3 strikeouts for Reed. All looking. Now let's look at Matt Loughlin. Matty.
All right, Howie, thank you very much. As you know, Bobby Valentine's appeal of his suspension was held today. He promised NL President Leonard Coleman he would not talk about the hearing, but afterwards Steve Phillips did. I asked him if he was surprised if it wasn't reduced.
I don't think I was surprised by it. I mean, I had a sense from talking to Len the other day, and then I guess and you know, listening today. I mean, I'm not surprised, but I guess I wouldn't have been surprised if he had reduced it as well. So it's just, you know, Len's making the judgment in the best way he can.
Was the defense pretty good in your mind?
Well, I think Bobby just wanted to make sure that Len knew the facts as he understood them and based his decision upon that. And I think that Len feels he pretty much knew all of it and decided that he just didn't want to change anything.
And Howie, the suspension begins tomorrow, last through the game on Thursday in St. Louis. Up to you.
All right, Matty. Brett Tomko picks up the first hit for the Cincinnati Reds. 1-out single here in the 3rd inning. Well, the Reds with a 1-out base runner as Reed allows the opposing pitcher to get that first hit. Now Pokey Reese, the second baseman, will bat. Reese was thrown out by Ray Ordonez in the 1st inning. Pokey hit one into the hole at shortstop, and Ordonez made that patented sliding stop. He was able to get up and fire to first base to beat the speedy Reese by a step. The Mets will look for 2 on the infield now. And Reed gets ahead with his fastball, 0-1. Thing about this artificial turf, even with a fast batter, get him to pound the ball into that turf. It's going to get to the infielders so quickly that you've got a real good chance of turning double plays. Olerud holding against the pitcher Tomko. Reese pops it up in foul territory. Olerud by the dugout to make the catch.
I'm sure for years when scouts went out to look at amateur players, they had to take into consideration what type of surface does our major league team play on. If it's the natural surface, well, we got to get guys that are not only quick but fast in the infield. Although it's tough to get to a ball, sit to your right or to your left and hit with any velocity at all. Here's the easy play for Olerud. But now with the change and most teams will be playing on the natural surface, the scouts don't have to keep in mind the artificial turf anymore.
Olerud playing in front of runner at first base, pitcher Brett Tomko, as Michael Tucker takes ball 1. Tucker hit a 1-humper to Olerud in the 1st inning. 4-0 New York. 2 outs here in the 3rd. This is game 2 of a 3-game series, which concludes tomorrow afternoon. Early call for the ball players. The first pitch will be thrown about 12:35.
It's funny, in the Cincinnati clubhouse, Ron Oster, who's in charge of the infielders, was in talking to Jack McKeon about canceling batting practice and infield practice because of the early start.
3-0 now to Tucker. The teams did not take batting practice today because there was a high school all-star baseball game.
Yeah, sometimes day game after night game like tomorrow, they might make batting practice optional for the players, especially the way the Mets jumped out to this 4-0 start.
And on 4 pitches, Reed has walked Tucker. And that'll bring up Sean Casey, the league's leading batter. So Reed giving up a hit to the opposing pitcher, a 2-out walk to Tucker. Now he's got to deal with Casey, who also drew a walk in the 1st inning. Talking about the difference in Rick Reed's walk ratio this year as opposed to past years. Dave Wallace was around here last year, so this is not particularly new to him. Watching Reed, learning about his repertoire, that information was all stored last year, but really is startling in Reed's case. Casey fouls the first pitch back, 0-1. Reed has actually averaged a little under 3.5 walks per 9 innings this year, which is more than double what his career average was coming into this season. Certainly one school of thought has to be with the somewhat narrower strike zone that people will say has affected Greg Maddux and Tom Glavine this year, but it's only a part of it. Way upstairs, 1-1.
Glavine pitching tonight for the Atlanta Braves, 3-7 on the year.
And this is updated to include Tucker's walk, only 6 away from his entire total of last year.
Rick Reed saw some time with the Cincinnati Reds in '95.
Fouled back, and now Reed ahead 1-2. And if you're just joining us, Rick Reed was suffering from either a urinary infection or possibly even a kidney stone yesterday. His start today was somewhat in doubt. Alan Watson was told to stay ready. Reed was placed on medication last night by the doctor, feeling a lot better today. Ahead 4-0 in the game, 1-2 to Casey. To Alfonso, who goes the short way, and the side retired. No runs, a hit, a walk. The Reds leave 2, and it's still 4-0. Our Aflac trivia question as we start the 4th inning. 22 years ago tonight, they called it the Midnight Massacre around the New York Mets when Tom Seaver and Dave Kingman were traded. 6 players came to New York. Who were the 6? Well, we'll give you the answer in the bottom half of the inning. One of them is in a Mets uniform tonight. Not Rick Reed, though.
Well, Tom Seaver had great control of some great stuff. Good fastball, could throw it where he wanted to. Well, Sean Casey in a key at bat to end the inning. Now watch Mike Piazza where he goes with his target, and watch how Rick Reed gets that ball right in that area of the glove. It's an excellent pitch, and they tie up Sean Casey. Very good pitch to get Casey in a key at bat in this ball game. When Reed needed to make a money pitch, he made it.
Tomko's first pitch of the inning to Brian McRae is fouled back. No balls, 1 strike to the Mets center fielder.
And if you are scouting Brian McRae, and the scouts follow the Mets every day of the season.
Fouled away, 0-2.
You take a look at the scouting report on Brian McRae. Weather gets warm, he gets hot. He's proven it. Power from the left side, again he's proven it. Extension is the key. When he gets those arms extended, he smokes the ball. Although it's kind of a misnomer, the arm extension. You've heard it for years. They say don't let guys get their arms extended. Nobody hits the ball hard if their arms are completely extended. You're limited to how far you can drive a ball with your arms completely extended. You hit the ball and then you extend your arms.
The follow through.
The follow through, very important. Strong hands when you hit that ball. Mike Piazza's a great example.
And McRae down on strikes. 5 strikeouts now for Brett Tomko.
Well, Tomko throwing the ball right by Brian McRae. And the ball was off the plate by a foot. So Brett Tomko has gotten it together ever since giving up 3 home runs in the first inning. He's throwing the ball about 7 miles per hour faster since the first inning.
He's retired 10 in a row now since that Piazza home run.
Take a look at our New York Life in-game box. See the home runs? Henderson, Olaru, Piazza.
1 ball, 1 strike now to Matt Franco, who flew out.
The hitters are having trouble catching up with the fastball, but a big pitch. We just showed you a money pitch from Rick Reed. When he had to get it done, he got it done. Good ball movement, good location on Sean Casey.
And a fastball misses. Now, if we're to believe, Fran, all of these figures from the ray gun, could you assume perhaps that Tomko didn't warm up either long enough or properly and wasn't completely loose?
No, he was loose. You know, it's funny. When you catch a guy, you go down and catch the last few pitches in the bullpen. Look at that. He threw that ball right by Matt Franco. When you catch a guy in the bullpen, for example, if you're catching a ball game, you run down and catch the last 5 or 10 pitches. Now you go on the mound. You notice from a lot of guys a difference in velocity for a few minutes, or maybe an inning, or maybe 2 innings until they get their good rhythm on the mound during the course of the game.
Franco fouls it off. This will reach the seats down the third base side.
It's a world of difference going from the bullpen mound to the mound in the center of that field with everybody in the stands looking at you, players taking their rips. there are some pitchers, Howie, they lose a great deal of velocity going from the bullpen mound to the center of the field and never get it back.
Again popped up to the left side over near the Mets dugout. Taubensee there, so is Boone, and it's Aaron Boone to make the play. 2 out, nobody on. Tomko has 11 in a row.
Always amazed me how a guy would lose that much velocity going from the bullpen mound to the playing field. But Tomko seems to have been able to get it up even faster. He has found his velocity in this game. That's when they tell you get a good pitcher early in the game, because he doesn't have his rhythm. He's still feeling his way in the center of the field. Once he gets comfortable, they're tough.
Tomko's an emotional pitcher too, and we saw some of that in his reaction in the dugout after the first inning when he gave up the 4 runs. And then you think back to when he was called up in May after having been sent down at the end of April. His first start, he threw 8 2/3 shutout innings, picking up the win, and said afterwards, "I was mad. I wanted to show him I belong up here."
Well, they told me in the Cincinnati Red clubhouse that's why they sent him out, that they wanted to get him mad. And you know, it's a great example within this ball game. He got mad. He got mad from the first inning to the second inning. We showed him in the dugout pacing around. Well, they're going to find a way to get him mad before the game.
Got to come prepared with a book of insults for him. And the 0-2 rip past Reese. And on the turf, this one's going to go to the wall, and let's watch Cedeno run. He's going to hold on at second base.
I can't believe that. Roger Cedeno only got a double off that ball. Maybe he wants to steal third.
Well, with 2 out, you normally play it a bit more conservatively, but you've got Ordonez coming up, and then the pitcher, and I'm surprised he's not on third base here.
I am too. Cedeno runs too fast not to get a triple. Even from there, he could have gone for a triple. They're not going to throw him out at third base.
Did he look totally comfortable running to you?
No, but he could still go for it. That's quick. He could still go for a triple. Nobody's going to throw him out at third base on that ball. There's got to be a reason for Cedeno stopping at second base.
I have no idea if he has anything bothering him about one of his legs or not, but he almost looked a little uncomfortable going around first.
I talked to him before the ball game. He said he was healthy.
Oh, Ray Ordonez will be the batter, and he takes a fastball away.
Now, this guy here is not low, and he, for some reason, he only gets to second base, and the ball will hit in the gap in right center field. But nobody's going to throw him out at third base on that ball, and I'm surprised he's not on third.
He might have given up on the chances of that ball getting to the wall. Maybe not. Now he's trying to steal third, and he walks there.
He wanted to steal a base.
See what happens when you try and figure things out? You're right.
I wouldn't be surprised if he wanted to steal third.
Now, wait a minute. No. You're not telling me out of the box he's thinking, I'm stopping at second so I can steal third.
He wanted to steal a base. I'm telling you right now, there's no way he's not on third base on that ball he hit. No way. And now, unless he hurt his leg, but if he hurts his leg, how's he stealing third?
Oh, yeah. 3 balls, no strikes now to Ordonez. Cedeno give it credit for his major league leading 35th steal.
Flexing that right leg. Well, he stole third base easily.
I just thought the way he pulled into second, going around first and into second, he looked a little bit humbled or uncomfortable.
He wants that stolen base.
So it's all a clever ruse.
I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. No, there's some other reason he stops at second base. He's not stopping at second base for double. He said, I'm going to steal third now. He's flexing. He's got a problem with the leg, the right leg.
That's how it looked to me going around first base.
That'll happen. We were talking about the artificial turf. You have better traction on the artificial turf. It's also more of a strain on your legs.
Pretty good when you can test your legs and pick up your 35th stolen base. That's what he was doing.
Let me just see how it feels.
Reed bounces it to the second baseman Reese, and the side retired. For the record, Cedeno came down the line pretty well, but it's the third out, no runs. The Cedeno double and 2 left. Fan, 22 years ago tonight, you were not a happy Met fan when the Mets made their deals with the Cincinnati Reds and the San Diego Padres, trading away future Hall of Famer Tom Seaver and their best power hitter Dave Kingman. And we certainly know now they didn't get a whole heck of a lot in return. Bobby Valentine, the man currently in uniform for the New York Mets, and his career was decidedly on a downward cycle, having hurt his leg seriously several years earlier. But Doug Flynn would win a Gold Glove for the Mets, and Henderson had a real good half season for them as a rookie. But Well, I'll tell you, Fran, there's an interesting story that Ed Kranepool told me a bunch of years ago. Joe Torre was managing the Mets at the time, and Kranepool was still playing for them. And Eddie said that Torre had told him that the Mets were playing the Reds against the Dodgers in negotiations for the Seaver trade, and that the package the Dodgers offered included a young Pedro Guerrero. Lee Lacy became a pretty good outfielder, infielder over the course of his career. Greg Vaughn goes after the first pitch, pops it into short center field. In comes McRae with Henderson, but it's McRae to make the catch. One man away. We'll give you all the details on that supposed deal in just a moment, but we have to remind you about MSG Network's post-game Toyota Knicks special tomorrow night, right after Game 1 of the NBA Finals between the Knicks and the Spurs. Extensive coverage for die-hard Knicks fans. You get all the locker room reactions and press conferences as they happen. When the game ends, MSG is just getting started with a Toyota Knicks post-game special immediately following Game 1 tomorrow night on MSG Network. It's more than just a game. 1-0 to Barry Larkin. But anyway, Kranepool and Joe Torre apparently were of the belief that the Mets could have chosen from a list any three, or at least three, which included Pedro Guerrero, Lee Lacy, and Rick Rhoden, who was a pretty good pitcher as well as hitter and now an outstanding golfer. And they ended up taking the deal with the Cincinnati Reds, which was largely inferior to the one that was supposedly offered by the Dodgers.
Well, we got our in-game box score. Cameron has struck out in this ball game.
2 balls, 1 strike now on Larkin. Now, Joe McDonald was the Mets general manager at the time. And after hearing that story from Kranepool and Torre a long time ago now, I asked McDonald about it. He said he didn't remember that package being out there, but he would call, and I forget now if it was Buzzy Bavasi or Al Campanis, who was the general manager of the Dodgers. And what was told to me then by Joe McDonald is that they had no recollection of it. You know what? I'll bet you that package was out there. 2-2 to Larkin. Well hit, right field. Cedeno on the warning track to put it away. So 2 out, nobody on. Make sure to get a head start on the Knicks Spurs series. It begins tomorrow night. Get that head start from the network that knows the Knicks best. Catch the MSG Sports Desk 1999 NBA Finals preview tonight at 11:30, immediately following Sports Desk on MSG Network.
Well, it looked like Roger Cedeno's leg was all right there to run down that ball, hit off the bat of Barry Larkin. He hit a double last inning if you just tuned in. I thought it was a triple all the way, and then he stole third base. And between innings, Cedeno is telling Mookie Wilson he's all right. So maybe Mookie felt he hurt his leg also, because Mookie's got to be surprised he's not on third. But you know the great thing about it is if you're going to second base, you should have had a triple. You have that type of speed, steal third. No big deal. But then we saw him flexing his right leg.
Fastball outside. And so Reed behind Eddie Taubensee, 3-0. Taubensee flying to left his first time up. Reed's allowed only 1 hit. It's been to the pitcher, Brett Tomko. Right there, 3-1. June 15th, the old trading deadline.
Well, the Mets traded one of maybe the top 5 pitchers in the history of the game in Tom Seaver.
Taubensee fouls it back, and the count full. Nowadays, the trade deadline is July the 31st.
Dave Kigman, who hit a lot of long home runs, is a member of the Mets.
Payoff pitch on the way to Taubensee, and it's ripped down the right field line, a fair ball, and it skips over the wall for a ground rule double.
Wait, Taubensee scalded that ball.
Second hit off of Reed.
And for Taubensee, his first hit the ball hard his first time up. Had a 16-game hitting streak ended last night. Well, if he learns to speed up his feet as a catcher, he'd be a real good all-around catcher. He's got a good, strong throwing arm, but he can hammer the ball.
Now, you say speed up his feet. You don't mean all of a sudden discover new running speed. You mean mechanically getting out of the chute?
Behind the plate, he's slow of foot, and that's why he doesn't throw out very many runners. He has a very strong throwing arm.
Michael Cameron, the batter. Reed struck him out first time. Cameron takes a strike here, and Mike Cameron now just 1 strikeout behind Jose Hernandez of the Chicago Cubs,
And
who has the most number of strikeouts in the National League.
And he becomes over anxious when you get ahead of him. So right now, Rick Reed's ahead of him on the count. Don't throw him a strike.
Fellow was headed towards the outside corner, but just missed. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Yeah, they say that when Cameron gets behind on the count, he becomes extremely over anxious and loses his aggressiveness as far as the strike zone. He'll chase things out of the strike zone.
One hit in the air, center field. Brian McRae drifting back, still going, and makes the catch. So Rick Reed giving up 3 fly ball outs. Taubensee had a double. The Reds get nothing more. And at the end of 4, pitcher's duel has evolved. The good news for the Mets is that the duel began to evolve after the first 4 Met batters in the first inning. They all would score 3 via the home run, and Rick Reed for the Mets has limited the Reds to 2 hits through the first 4.
Yeah, and Dave Wallace, the pitching coach with the Mets, staying on top of Rick Reed, talking about that breaking ball. Tell him to come over the top.
Ricky Henderson takes a strike as we start the 5th inning. Fran's in with a play-by-play.
All right, Howie. 0-1 on Henderson. He takes the breaking ball from Tomko. Misses outside. So 1 ball and 1 strike. 4-zip the Mets on top of the Reds. Swung and a missed at a heater. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Now they want Tomko to work hitters inside, specifically with his fastball. And here a pitch that would be very difficult for Ricky Henderson to hit. Up and in.
Hit a fastball down and away. Right there, foul tipped the ball into Taubensee's glove. 1 down here in the 5th. Now let's take a look at our Delta schedule.
1 more for the Mets and the Reds here at Cinergy Field in Cincinnati. We'll have it for you tomorrow. Matt Lockman's going to get up awfully early. Geico Mets on deck at 12 noon. Sato Yoshii will face Steve Parrish. Then it's on to St. Louis. WB11 will take Thursday, Friday, and Sunday. Fox 5 has Saturday's game.
Edgardo Alfonzo has a bat in his hand right now. He's walked and he's grounded out in this game. Alfonzo batting .295. He fouls the ball back. 1 ball and 1 strike on Alfonzo. Boy, Tomko has really turned up the velocity. Throwing the ball very hard since he gave up 3 home runs in the first inning. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Breaking ball out of play. 1 ball and 2 strikes. After Alfonzo, it will be Olerud. Olerud hit a 2-run dinger back in the 1st. Alfonzo very comfortable against Tomko throughout his career. And the 1-2. No, it's time is called for Alfonzo. Home plate umpire Joe West behind the plate, calling the balls and strikes. Country Joe West. And the 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball is pulled foul. So we'll do it again in 1 and 2. Mets coming into tonight's action tied with the Philadelphia Phillies at 4 games behind the Atlanta Braves. Atlanta losing in Houston last night, playing the Astros again tonight. Down low, so it's 2 and 2. Home run leaders in the National League. Sammy Sosa leading the league at 22. How about Jeff Bagwell? He really snuck into this race with 21. Jay Bell with 20. Here's the 2-2 pitch to Alfonzo. Fastball popped up. It will be out of play. The battery in tonight's game. Mike Piazza, Rick Reed. Reed's been throwing very well, mixing up his pitches, and he's got good ball movement and great location. Breaking ball misses outside. Full count now on Alfonzo. By the way, in tomorrow's game, it'll be Masato Yoshii going for his 6th victory of the season against Steve Parrish, who's 4-0 for the Reds. And there's a drive to left field. It's way back. Home run. Edgardo Alfonzo, and the 4th home run of the game for the New York Mets off Brett Tomko.
Now, this is an oddity. I don't know how often, if at all, it's ever happened in Mets history. It might be something for our friends to research in the next little while, but the first 4 hitters now in the Mets batting order tonight have all homered. Henderson, Alfonso, Olerud, and Piazza. This one makes it 5-0, the 9th of the year for Edgardo Alfonso, but it's something of a rarity, isn't it? Top 4 hitters all have gone deep. Same game. And we're only in the 5th inning.
And Alfonso hitting a bullet over the left field wall. John Olerud has a home run. He takes down low, ball 1.
Well, no question about this one either. Alfonso turning on it and losing it. All 3 home runs in the first inning were crushed, as was this one.
Olerud takes a strike, so it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Edgardo Alfonso with a walk and a home run in this game. He's also grounded out. And the 1-1 pitch to Olerud. Breaking ball. It's called a strike. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Olerud batting .315. Five-zip, the Mets on top of the Reds. Good fastball for a strike to Olerud. So Olerud goes down looking. 2 men are out.
7 strikeouts now for Brett Tomko.
Figure that out. Good fastball, good breaking ball, 7 strikeouts, and he's given up 4 home runs, all coming off the fastball. And here's a guy who hit a fastball a ton in the first inning, Mike Piazza. And there is a fastball down low, ball 1. One and 0 on Piazza. He takes a fastball for a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. Alfonso talking about lunging. Mickey Brantley telling him to stand up. You got to bring your hands. If you bring your hands down, you got to bring them back up. Fouled off. You know, it's funny when you're a kid, you hear about this hitch. Well, there is a thing. It's called a preparatory hitch, and you need it. You got to get your hands back into a hitting position. Years ago, hitters used to drop their hands and then bring them back up. Today, they seem to bring them backwards. Then you don't have to worry about bringing your hands back up and getting on top of the ball. It was a good shot of Mickey Brantley, the new hitting instructor, talking to Edgardo Alfonso. Swung and a miss by Piazza. So Tomko throwing the heater by Piazza, but some damage here in the 5th inning coming off the bat of the second baseman for the Mets, Edgardo Alfonso. Hit a bullet over the left field wall. It's 5G Field, and now it's time for our Jeep game summary.
You can summarize this game with the home run 4 times. Henderson, Olerud, Piazza, and Alfonso all going deep off of Brett Tomko. And Rick Reed, on the other hand, doing the pitching for the Mets, limiting the Reds to no runs on 2 hits.
And when you get a complete day off, what do? You relax.
That's not a hammock that he's in. He's simply sitting down on the Mets bench, or at least in their dugout.
Robin Ventura, between innings, relaxing. And Brett Tomko's not relaxed. He's throwing the ball hard. He gave up another home run. That coming in the 5th inning. He's given up 4 today. Swung on and missed by Aaron Boone, who's 0 for 1 in this game. There it is, 5-zip. The Mets on top of the Reds. Tomko gave up a home run to Henderson on a fastball in the first. Home run to Olerud. It looked like a split finger pitch to Olerud. Then a fastball to Piazza in the first, a home run. And a fastball for a home run to Edgardo Alfonso in the 5th. Now it's 2-1 on Aaron Boone. Aaron drove in 4 runs in last night's game. It's a good pitch right there. Boone chases it. So it's 2 balls and 2 strikes, and Aaron Boone, who struck out back in the 3rd inning. He'll be followed by Brett Tomko. And the 2-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. Boone goes down for the 2nd time on strikes in this ball game. He's 0 for 2.
This copyrighted telecast is authorized under television rights granted by the New York Mets solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the New York Mets and Fox Sports Net New York is prohibited.
The batter now, Brett Tomko. He singled to center field his first time up. He takes up high, ball 1.
Reds have had and continue to use Jason Beret in the bullpen. Still loosening up, but Tomko hitting for himself here.
Down low to Tomko. 1 ball. Check that. 2 balls and no strikes. 5-zip. The Mets on top of the Reds. Final game of this 3-game series tomorrow afternoon here in Cincinnati. Foul back. 2 balls and 1 strike. Window sitting in that dugout as Tomko hits his ball a long way to right center field. Cedeno makes the grab in front of the wall. 2 down.
Now Rick Reed not happy with himself because Brett Tomko had a base hit his first time up. This gave one a long ride right field, but Roger Cedeno ran it down. Cedeno certainly not playing particularly deep against the opposing pitcher, but getting to the ball and plenty of time to make the catch.
So 2 men are out here in the 5th inning. The batter will be Pokey Reese. Reese is 0 for 2 in his game. He grounded out and he popped out. Kirk Wendell sitting next to Alton Jackson in the Met dugout. Maybe he has some white on the spikes that he's coloring in.
Can never be too careful when your old buddy Jack McKeon's around.
Yeah, he and Don Gullett were in there looking at the rule book to find out what they could do tonight. 1-0 on Pokey Reese. Curveball misses up high. See Rick Reed ask for another ball. When they throw a breaking ball and it slips out of their hand and they ask for another ball, they're looking for higher seams or a better ball that's been rubbed up with that mud from the Delaware River.
I don't know.
You don't deal with mud.
I called it Mississippi mud once, and I know it's not from Mississippi. I think it is somewhere in Delaware, isn't it?
And it's this mud that they rub up the ball before the game. Why they do it? Somebody has good connections
in Delaware.
That's right.
Cheap mud.
Base hit center field. So Pokey Reese will try for 2, and he'll make it. So Pokey Reese with that very good speed hustles into second base with a double.
Well, typical of the artificial turf, once it gets past Ordonez, it just zips towards the gap. And McRae has to know that and get over there quickly. Pokey Reese thinking double all the way once the ball got past Ordonez. And Pokey Reese in there with his 16th 2-base hit of the year.
You think speed matters? Anybody else stays on first base. I mean, that's a single stretched into a double by a guy with great wheels. And Michael Tucker fouls back the first pitch. Now Rick Reed's going to play that ball to Caramo. He's going to throw it out. How about that? Boy, if I was a pitcher, I could keep that ball if it was scuffed up.
Not enough mud.
Delaware mud. 0-1 on Michael Tucker. After watching Pokey Reese go from home to second, you still have to wonder, should Roger Cedeno have a triple in this game? Reese with a big lead off second base. And the 0-1 pitch hit hard, base hit right field. So Pokey Reese, who stretched a single into a double, is responsible for that run right there. Good hustle by Reese, good hitting Michael Tucker. It's now 5-1 Mets.
Well, the Mets outfield was playing fairly deep, respecting the power of Tucker. With a 5-run lead, no question, no chance for Roger Cedeno to make a play on Reese coming around third. Tucker at first base now with a run batted in, and it's 5-1 New York.
And the batter now, Sean Casey. Pitch misses inside to Casey. 1-0. Casey batting .373. With 2 runners aboard in the 3rd inning, Reed made a nasty pitch to Sean Casey, got him to ground out into a force out at second base. And a key at bat. There goes Tucker. Ball hit right back to Rick Reed. Reed to Olerud scored 1-3, and that'll do it for the Reds. They strand a runner, but they pick up a run here in the bottom of the 5th inning. And after 5, it's 5-1 New York.
We're going to the 6th inning, which means our Coors Light Silver Bullet 6th, and Jorge Vicens from New York is today's lucky fan. So if Ahmed homers this inning, Jorge wins dinner for 2 at Mars 21-12.
And Brian McRae's the batter. He's struck out twice in his game, and he fouls off the first pitch. So it's 0-1 on the Mets center fielder. 5-1, the Mets on top of the Reds. Up high. 1 ball and 1 strike. Gray will be followed by Matt Franco and then Roger Cedeno. Swung on and missed. 1-2. It's going to be a short night for the Mets and the Reds. 12:30 start tomorrow afternoon here at Cinergy Field in Cincinnati. Final game of this 3-game series. Gray drives the ball down the left field line. Foul ball.
Brian McRae doesn't think so.
You know what? I'll tell you, that was very, very close. Was it foul?
Well, in that area, you assume if it's fair, straight down the line like that, the ball's probably going to hit that screen representing the foul pole or the fair pole.
It was foul.
And it just misses. And it just
Not
misses.
by much. Wow. Gray drives the ball to center field. Cameron going back. Over the shoulder, he makes the grab. 1 down.
Well, he flirted twice with a home run. I don't think he believes the first one, the foul ball, was necessarily foul. He will if he ever gets a look at the video. But it's one thing to miss when you shoot one right down the line about 330 feet away. Then you muscle up, and on the next pitch, you drive one just about 400 feet. Now, this is the foul ball just outside the foul pole. It's about 330, as you see. The next one, he hits dead center, 400 feet.
And Matt Franco flying out to left field his first time up and popped to third base in the 4th, so he's 0 for 2. He has an 0-1 count. Once again, take a look at that ball.
If it had been a fair ball, it would have made contact with that screen, and you would have seen the screen flutter, kind of like Tomko's heart. And he can't be thinking he's given up a 5th home run of the night, can he?
It's 0-2 now on Matt Franco. 4 home runs given up so far tonight by Brett Tomko. And the 0-2 pitch fouled out of play. So we'll do it again at 0-2. So Brian McRae just missed a home run twice. I think the only player that I can remember hitting a ball just fouled and then coming back and hitting a home run in the very next pitch, Rusty Staub, when he was a member of the Mets. And Matt Franco hits a rocket to right field. Home run, Matt Franco. The Mets now have 5 home runs in this game.
No need to throw it back. The way the Mets are hitting, somebody else will put one up there. 5 home runs now. That's a new season's high. They hit 4 in the first game of a doubleheader against the Brewers last month. But boy, imagine, you don't know how things are going to play out in terms of pitch selection and stuff, but imagine if McRae's ball had been a fair ball and then Franco had gone deep. Mets would have had home runs from the first 6 men in their batting order tonight, but they'll have to settle for 5 out of 6 and a 6-1 lead.
And Roger Cedeno, the batter, swung on and missed. 0-1 on Cedeno.
No question about this one. No cheapies among the 5 home runs. Franco knew it as soon as he unloaded. And for Matt Franco, his 3rd home run.
Cedeno doubled his last time up, and he hits a bullet into right field.
Oh, one thing the Matt Franco home run did was send Jorge Vicens to dinner, as this is our Coors Light Silver Bullet 6th. This shot by Franco means that Jorge Vicens wins dinner for two at Mars 21-12 for the Coors Light Silver Bullet blast from Matt Franco.
Roger Cedeno is now on first base. Cedeno getting more confident at the plate, seems to be pulling the ball with more authority now. He stole third. You know he's going to steal second. Ray Ordonez is the batter. He's 0 for 2.
So Jorge is going to Mars 21-12, that is.
They check Cedeno at first base.
Franco's telling McRae how you're supposed to do it, not that foul stuff. Tell you what, Fran, Jack McKeon did something unusual. Before McRae just missed and before Franco unloaded, remember he had Brett Tomko bat for himself in the 5th inning, even though he had Jason Beret throwing in the bullpen. Well, now Beret's up again.
There goes Cedeno. Ordonez hits the ball and it gets past Aaron Boone at third. Cedeno hustles to third base. See how it's scored. Mets now with runners on first and third with 1 out. Official score rules in an error on Aaron Boone.
Well, this is turning into one of those games where Jack McKeon may just want to burn the tape. First error made in the ball game off the glove of Boone. Now the Mets with runners at the corners.
So runners on the corners. Jack McKeon looking on. He'll watch as Brett Tomko pitches to Rick Reed. Reed struck out and grounded out in this game. Squares the bunt. And he takes up high. Ball 1. The Mets have a 6-1 lead. We're in the top of the 6th inning. You're watching all the action on Fox Sports Net New York. Aaron Boone anticipating the bunt. And it's a beauty. The throw to first, and Cedeno is caught at the plate. Great block of home plate by Ed Taubensee. I never thought they'd get him. Good throw by Pokey Reese. But the Mets pick up another run here in the top of the 6th inning. That was an exciting play. We'll show it to you when we come back. Go to the bottom of the 6th at 6-1 New York.
Around on the play that retired Roger Cedeno at home plate to end the Mets half of the 6th inning. Cedeno, the runner at third. Ordonez was at first, and Rick Reed, the pitcher, does something that's difficult. He lays down a pretty good bunt on the artificial surface. His initial objective was to get Ordonez to second. What Cedeno is going to do here is wait until the throw is made to first base and then dash for the plate. It was not a suicide squeeze or anything of that magnitude. So now you got the pitcher with the ball, and as soon as he commits to first base, Cedeno comes down the line, and the second baseman who covered the bag, Pokey Reese, makes an outstanding throw, and Taubensee with a solid block of the plate.
I'm amazed that they could get Cedeno at the plate. Pokey Reese made a perfect throw. Well, you know what? It was a perfect throw. It put Taubensee in a position in front of the plate where he had to block him. There's nothing else Taubensee can do except drop that ball. If he catches the ball and Cedeno doesn't go around him, immediately he goes into him and he's blocked by Taubensee.
That's hardball. I mean, that's real good.
Yeah,
baseball.
that was good baseball right there. Taubensee blocking home plate because he had to. And Greg Vaughn takes a strike. But then in the dugout between innings, you could see Cedeno bringing up his foot like he's going to kick Taubensee next time when he slides into home plate. And Vaughn hits a towering fly ball to left field. Ricky Henderson. Nice catch. Ricky says hello to the ball. 1 down. A reaction from the crowd to Ricky Henderson's catch.
Well, the old snatch catch. Ricky's been doing that forever.
And then he styled after he caught it. Boy, you don't want to upset another team when you got him down.
Well, I don't think at this point the Mets would mind upsetting Jack McKeon for some of the gamesmanship that he displayed over the last couple of nights. I don't know if this qualifies, but boy, there's you got the mustard, Fran?
Yeah, that's a style master right there.
He's not done yet.
No, he's not.
You know, the basket catch was one thing, but to a traditionalist, stuff like that just takes a little longer to get used to than perhaps someone who's a bit more conservative. A bit less conservative, I should say, and there's nothing conservative about the way Ricky's played baseball.
He's done it with flair. Now, he's upset a lot of people over the years, the way he's carried himself a few times during the course of his Hall of Fame career.
I got to tell you, I mean, I've never liked that stuff, but for Ricky, it's something that has become so much a part of his persona as a player. I don't know how much he even thinks about it. He just does it instinctively most of the time.
And now he'll pick up a ground ball in the left field off the bat of Barry Larkin. So Larkin with his first hit of the game.
New York Mets baseball is brought to you in part by Brewery Fresh Budweiser, official beer of Major League Baseball. This Bud's for you.
So Barry Larkin on first base here in the bottom of the 6th inning. The Reds trailing by 5. Eddie Taubensee, the batter, lined out and doubled. His double was a rocket that hit the artificial turf in right field and shot into the right field bleachers. Fouls it off. Bobby Valentine will be off tomorrow.
And Bruce Benedict, sitting next to Bobby, is going to run the club tomorrow and Thursday in St. Louis.
2-day suspension. Bruce Benedict, who managed in the minor leagues. And the 0-1 pitch to Taubensee. He fouls it off. No balls and 2 strikes.
Bobby was asked yesterday about Bruce Benedict in anticipation of this suspension becoming official. And basically the question was, do you think Bruce Benedict can manage in the major leagues right now? And Bobby did not hesitate. He says, yes, I think Bruce Benedict would make a good major league manager.
Well, Davey Johnson would give Bobby Valentine an opportunity to manage when he was one of his coaches. 0-2 on Taubensee. Way inside. 1-2. Now we'll see if Reed was setting Taubensee up with that fastball that got him off the plate. Barry Larkin on first, being held on by John Olerud. Misses inside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Rick Reed with a cushion of 5 runs. Mets have 6 runs on 7 hits. The Reds have 1 run on 5 hits. And the 2-2 pitch. Pulled to the right side. Olerud goes to second for 1. Back to first. Reed covering. Double play. 3-6-3. And that'll do it for the Reds. Here in the bottom of the 6th. After 6 complete, it's 6-1 Mets.
Here in Cincinnati, new football stadium going up, and double switch, 2 changes for Jack McKeon. Jason LaRue will make his major league debut behind the plate at bat 9th, and Jason Beret will be the new pitcher for Jack McKeon.
The inning ended last inning on a double play. Olerud throwing to Ordonez. Ordonez back to Reed covering first base. And the Mets have a 5-run lead as we go to the top of the 7th inning. Jason Beret, the new pitcher, now back in with the play-by-play. Howie Rose.
And Ricky Henderson, who has 1 of 5 home runs hit by the Mets tonight, entertaining the crowd with that snatch catch in the bottom half of the 6th inning. Ricky's home run, the 74th of his career, leading off a game. Mets last hit 5 home runs in 1 game 2 years ago. But this is number 6. No question about this one. Ricky Henderson, his 2nd of the game.
What a game he's had. 2 home runs, a snatch catch, and a conversation with the ball.
One inning he says hello to the ball. The next inning he says goodbye to one. 7-1 New York. 6 home runs in one game. We'll have to look this up. I believe that ties the Met record. Didn't they hit 6 on opening day that year at Olympic Stadium when Darryl Strawberry hit one off that roof, or the ring around the roof at Olympic Stadium? I believe that was the record of 6 home runs in one game.
Well, Ricky Henderson has 2 home runs in tonight's ball game. He's on fire. The Mets are on fire tonight with the home run ball. Henderson's 5th of the season.
Alfonso has one. But it's 0-2 now to Alfonso.
Well, it just complicates matters even more for Bobby Valentine. Well, there's a style. He's been styling all night. Ricky Henderson.
Yep. This ties the Met record.
How about when he hits the home run the first couple steps? That'll upset a pitcher.
April 4th, 1988, the Mets opened their season in Montreal. Strawberry hit 2, McReynolds hit 2. Kevin Elster and Lenny Dykstra all connected, and the Mets have just tied that club mark on Ricky Henderson's 2nd of the night and the Mets 6th of the game.
It's summertime. Everybody's using mustard. Get some mustard on this guy. Ricky Henderson, a home run, his 2nd home run of the ball game.
3 balls, 2 strikes. You know, Ricky wants to make sure he's part of this outfield on a regular basis with the emergence of Agbayani and Cedeno.
Yeah, and you know, they say competition's good. Well, I guess sometimes it's good if you're not involved in it.
So ball 4 to Alfonso.
So Ricky Henderson wants playing time. Agbayani wants some playing time. Cedeno wants playing time. McRae wants playing time. Bobby Bonilla is back into the equation.
I don't know about that.
Well, he was at first base last night. Maybe he's back out of. Maybe he's out of the equation. But Bobby Valentine got Bobby Bowe into the lineup last night.
2nd time this year, and the 11th in his career that Henderson has hit 2 home runs in one game. John Olerud takes a strike. Nothing in 1.
If you're not, as you look at our new in-game box brought to you by New York Life, if you're not going to use somebody, you know what you got to do? He's got to be gone. He can't be on your ball club.
1-1 to Olerud. Henderson's 2 home runs in one game this season came the first week of the season in Florida.
They'll use that guy, Ricky Henderson. 40 years old.
It's a while for conservative traditionalists like me to warm up to that stuff like snatch catches and the hot dogging antics of players. But you know what? Sometimes it's entertaining.
Well, you know, baseball certainly does need entertaining characters. Turk Wendell on the mound is an entertaining character. You don't need a bushel full. You need an occasional entertaining character.
Well, this inning's starting to look a little bit like the first inning as Olerud lines a base hit to center. So just as Brett Tomko was greeted rudely at the start of the game, so has Jason Beret been here in the 7th. Now get a head start on the Knicks Spurs series from the network that knows the Knicks best. Catch the MSG Sports Desk 1999 NBA Finals preview tonight at 11:30, immediately following Sports Desk on MSG Network. It's more than just a game.
Ricky Henderson is making this game of baseball look easy.
So is the guy up now, Piazza.
Oh,
Mike, an 18-game hitting streak now after his first inning home run.
he knows when to take a day off. I told Bobby Valentine he needs one, and he got it. No BP. Was in the dugout during the game, but was not called upon.
Hop in the air to short center. Cameron there, and the runners will hold, 1 man away. Piazza 1 for 4. Jason Beret has his first out, costing Piazza 1 bat.
Well, Beret got in his kitchen, broke his bat, and easy fly ball to center field.
So 1 out, and Brian McRae coming up.
They try to bust Mike Piazza in. When they get it in there, they break his bat. If they don't get it in there, he breaks the ball. Usually hits it a long way. He can turn on that inside fastball. We haven't seen him hit as many home runs the other way so far this year. Seen a lot of home runs to left field and left center field from Piazza. Although against Trevor Hoffman, he hit a huge shot at Shea Stadium to right field.
0-1 now on McRae, who just missed a home run down the left field line his last time up. 1 ball, 1 strike. McRae almost hit the screen down the left field line, and then on the next pitch hit one 400 feet to dead center, which was caught by Cameron. He's the only Met among the top 6 of the lineup tonight in the batting order who does not have a home run. Outside, 2 balls and a strike. Jason Beret struggling here in the 7th inning. Beret hasn't pitched in over a week. Last working a week ago yesterday at Minnesota. Had been used as a starter. That outing against the Twins last week, his first relief appearance since last August. In fact, this is only the 7th relief appearance he's made in his career. Two balls, 2 strikes to McRae. Alfonso at second, Olerud at first, and McRae down on strikes. So Beret picks up his first strikeout. 2 men away. Matt Franco coming up. So it's been a record-tying night for the New York Mets. 6 home runs, equaling the record set on opening day 1988. Olympic Stadium in Montreal. Most memorable of those 6 when Darryl Strawberry tucked one just under the roof, hitting the ring, which goes around the circumference of Olympic Stadium. And Franco rips one to right field for a base hit. Around third, Olerud, he's coming home. Pardon me, Alfonso scores, and Olerud goes to third. Holding at first with an RBI single is Matt Franco. And the Met lead is now 8-1. So a rarity tonight. A Met delivers a run-scoring hit without leaving the yard to do it.
Matt Franco with a home run, and now a single and an RBI. Bobby Valentine getting some at-bats for Matt Franco. He's done a nice job for him as a pinch hitter coming off the bench.
Runners at the corner now for Cedeno, and he takes inside.
Talking about Cedeno before, he hit a ball into right center field tonight. I thought it should have been a triple. It was a double, and he hit a hard line drive into right field his last time up. Starting to turn on that inside fastball.
Lined over, short base hit, and this one's got potential to go to the wall. Now Cedeno on his way to second as Olerud scores. Around third, Franco, the throw to the plate cut off by Casey. And Roger Cedeno is standing at second with a 2-run double, and the Mets have hit double digits. 10-1 New York.
Cedeno really impressing, swinging the bat since getting an opportunity to get in the lineup for the Mets. He watches that ball split the outfielders. That double written all over it. So Cedeno's on second base with his 3rd hit of the game.
Roger 3 for 4. Ray Ordonez is the batter. Ray 0 for 2 with a walk. And he lines one for a base hit. Cedeno rounds third. He's coming home. There'll be no throw to the plate. Ordonez with a run-scoring single. 11-1 New York. So Rick Reed will hit for himself. Rick Reed, the only player along with Brian McRae among the Mets starters now without an RBI tonight. 11 runs, 12 hits for New York. They've scored 5 times here in the 7th to break this one wide open. A fastball taken for a ball. Mets have now batted around here in the 7th. So 11-1 New York. Ball, 1 strike to Reed. Nothing doing in the Cincinnati bullpen. Jason Beret is going to have to find his way through this one all by himself. Popped up. Will reach the seats behind the Cincinnati dugout. Bobby Valentine, little going away present. Bobby Bonilla type. How about that?
Winning.
11 runs cures everything, doesn't it?
Winning. I saw Billy Martin and Reggie Jackson hugging during the World Series after the Mets or after the Yankees won the World Series.
Line drive, softly hit, but right at Boone. So the Mets bat around. The most prolific at bat belonging to Ricky Henderson.
Yes.
To the snatch catch. Hello ball and goodbye ball. Time to stretch in Cincinnati. Game for Fox Sports News prime time. Our folks at the Fox Sports Network Center tell us that the story Fox Sports News first broke last Thursday will be realized tomorrow. The LA Lakers have announced a press conference to introduce Phil Jackson as their new head coach, and that's set for tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern. Understand that our game here begins at 12:30, so if in fact we're still on the air with the Mets and Reds at 3 o'clock, we'll get to that as soon as possible immediately after the game. That's tomorrow. Stay tuned to Fox Sports Net New York and Fox Sports News for complete coverage.
Yeah, Luis Lopez at second base now for the Mets. Bobby Bowe was in the game, playing first base. And behind the plate, Todd Pratt.
So the Mets bench starting to get some work. Mike Cameron leads off the last of the seventh. First ball hitting. And Matt Franco, a throw that's held by Bonilla for the first out. Met with one of 6 home runs hit by the Mets, tying their single game record. Rick Reed, the happy beneficiary. Interestingly, Bobby Valentine was saying yesterday that he planned on resting Edgardo Alfonzo and Ray Ordonez, in addition to some of his other veterans that he's rested during the first 2 games of this series. But he's hedging now on Alfonzo and Ordonez because they both went to Bobby after he started to tell them of his plans and said, hey, we're swinging the bat about as well as we feel we could swing it over the last little while. And so Bobby said that he'll reassess after this game. Now, the fact that he's inserted Lopez in place of Alfonzo at second base now may mean that he will play Alfonzo tomorrow. Ordonez, we'll wait and see. So Alfonzo getting the rest of tonight, and maybe tomorrow off. Aaron Boone aboard with a base hit that sent Rick Reed to his bat. That's why that uniform's dirty and the dust is still swirling.
They tell you to be ready when you throw the ball. Be in position to field it. Well, he was in position, couldn't reach it, and then fell backwards.
So now he'll face Jason LaRue, who's making his major league debut. He came in behind the plate on a double switch, and for the time being, he's the backup catcher. But a 6-4-3. Ordonez to Lopez to Bonilla, and Jason LaRue's first major league at bat cost 2 outs on 1 pitch. 7 in the books. 11. Ricky Henderson will lead off the 8th inning. He's already provided the Dodge drive of the game.
Well, he hit a home run his first time at bat, leading off the ball game. So Ricky Henderson hitting a fastball out over the plate, and later on in the ball game got another fastball. It's our Dodge drive of the game, 2 for the price of 1. Ricky Henderson, a big night offensively and defensively, and he leads it off here in the top of the 8th.
Well, he's played the role of showman more than occasionally during his career. He's been especially animated tonight. Jason Beret starting his 2nd inning for the Mets. Or pardon me, against the Mets for the Reds. And the Reds have emptied their bench now. Dimitri Young playing left field.
Got that right.
Jeffrey Hammonds in right field. 1 ball, no strike to Ricky Henderson. And there's more where that came from. 2-0 now to Ricky. Pokey Reese moves from second base to shortstop, changes on the infield as well.
The Reds feel that he's as good as Ordonez at shortstop.
That's Chris Steins at second. And a new first baseman as well for the Reds. Hal Morris, the veteran. Up and in, 3-0. High, ball 4. So the Mets batted around against Beret in the 7th inning, and Henderson's aboard, which means that he's reached base 3 times in 5 plate appearances. Twice via the home run. And now Luis Lopez will hit for the first time. Runs, 12 hits, no errors for the Mets. A run, 6 hits, and 1 error for Cincinnati. And friend, we were speculating on what it would take for a Met to get a complete game this year. Remember, no Met has pitched into the 9th inning. Rick Reed may get the chance tonight. Side to Lopez, 1-0.
You see if Bobby Valentine decides to get some other pitchers some work.
Remember, tomorrow you've got the quick turnaround. You may not want to use anybody out of the bullpen now. Keep everybody ready to go tomorrow afternoon. Outside, 2-0.
It's not a big deal, though. You know what? You get these guys are young players. When you're young and strong, you think they care about a day game after a night game. They can stay up all night and play tomorrow.
And maybe what he's afraid of.
That's right. I'll tell you, there were a few managers afraid of that. Well, we're in Cincinnati. Can't happen.
Fouled off by Lopez. If you're hungry in Cincinnati and it's past 10 o'clock at night and you're not at home, you are going to bed hungry. Never mind anything else. They close the kitchens early in this town.
Yes, they do. Ricky Henderson will probably get the day off tomorrow after a big night tonight. Number 24.
2-1 to Lopez. Misses inside and low.
Very famous number, made famous by a great center fielder with the San Francisco Giants, Willie Mays. And
Ricky's idol growing up.
yeah.
Ball 4. Jack McKeon must be loving this. Bad enough he's down 11-1. Now he's got to watch his pitcher walk the first 2 here in the 8th inning. But MSG Network is ready to go right after game 1 of tomorrow's NBA Finals, bringing you the Toyota Knicks postgame special. Extensive postgame coverage for die-hard Knicks fans to get all the locker room reactions and press conferences as they happen. When the game ends, MSG is just getting started with the Toyota Knicks postgame special. Immediately following game 1 tomorrow night, MSG Network. It's more than just a game. Well, Bobby Bonilla will bat for the first time. He replaced John Olerud. Olerud had a home run and a single in 4 trips. Bonilla was 0 for 5 as a starter at first base last night. So Henderson, the runner at second. Lopez at first.
So Bobby Bo's out of the equation in the outfield. See some action, I guess, now at first base, according to Howie Rose.
Really? Bonilla pops the ball up. Probably call the infield fly rule. They invoke it now. 1 man away. So Bonilla heads back to the dugout. Todd Pratt will hit for the first time.
Well, Bobby had very little spring training and played with that brace in right field. And he wasn't real fast to begin with, and the brace slowed him down. And the injury got him out of the lineup, but it gave the Mets an opportunity to take a look at Roger Cedeno. Boy, has he come on again tonight. 3 hits for Cedeno.
Plus his 35th stolen base. Todd Pratt started last night's game. Takes inside. He went 1 for 4.
Cedeno said the big difference for him with this ball club is when he gets thrown out, he's told, forget it, keep running, don't worry about it. It's the only time in Cedeno's career that he's had the green light. Hard to believe, even in the minor leagues.
Hit hard and snagged by Steins, a double play. So Henderson trapped off of second, and the side retired. No runs, no hits, 2 walks, 1 left. Middle of the 8th, it's been all Mets. Night for the Mets. Henderson, Olerud, Piazza. That was just in the 1st inning. And then Alfonso, Matt Franco, and Henderson again. 6 home runs for the Mets, tying their single-game record. That's the headline to our Tri-State Consumer Auto Insurance game summary.
And with those 2 home runs, Henderson needed a little bit of mustard. Olerud and Piazza, they go around in a very conservative way. They go around the bases. Same with Alfonso and Franco. 6 home runs in this game for the New York Mets.
They did it in Montreal against the Expos.
Now, if you're wondering about Henderson's shirt, the orange on his shirt, it's not a problem for an opposing team. It's when it goes down to the sleeves. That undershirt is orange. That's what Jack McKeon complained about last night with Pat Mahomes.
Pokey Reese lines a base hit.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, the Reds are very high on this guy, Pokey Reese. He's at shortstop now, and they feel he's as good as Ordonez at shortstop.
So Jeffrey Hammonds will hit for the first time, but Bobby Valentine in our Bud quote book not happy with that gamesmanship of Jack McKeon last night. He thinks it's ridiculous, nonsense, hasn't seen it do any good. And the key phrase there is that it's a waste of time, because I asked Bobby about that before the game. Hammonds temps 1 to 3rd. Franco will go to 1st. Hammonds retired. On to 2nd goes Reese. But I asked Bobby before the game if he thought about doing anything similar to try and get even with Jack McKeon. And he said no. And he said no emphatically, because he said that, for example, a couple of the Reds players have been wearing white wristbands, which he feels is in violation of the rules. But he says the mandate in Major, and there's a perfect example on Pokey Reese. He said, well, that should be, well, whatever. He called them white wristbands. But, you know, well, what he said was that it's in violation, or more specifically, the mandate in Major League Baseball the last couple of years has been to speed the game up. And he feels, as Morris shoots one down the left field line, around 3rd and coming home is Reese. And Hal Morris pulls in at 2nd with a double. It's now 11-2. But Bobby said, listen, they want to speed the game up. By doing little things like that, all I'd be doing would be to slow it down.
That's right. You don't want to slow the game down, although I guess the Mets did complain about the walkie-talkies in New York that the Cincinnati Reds were using.
McKeon feels that's what started this whole thing, and now he's been trying to even things up. So 11-2 now after the run-scoring double by Hal Morris. And Dimitri Young will bat for the first time.
They were telling me one of the reasons they used the walkie-talkies, and they used them in different ballparks, is because they were having trouble with the phone systems in the dugout. It's a good excuse.
If the Reds had paid their bill, this never would have happened.
No, it happened in New York.
Yeah, but don't they get charged for the calls?
No, and it happened in Philly, too.
So they just happened to pack the walkie-talkies
Right.
with them.
Bring the walkie-talkies wherever you go. You might want to put somebody in the center field bleachers.
Dimitri Young couldn't hold his swing. It's 0-2. And for the first time tonight, a little scurrying around in the Mets bullpen. Notice no orange protruding from Pat Mahomes' sleeves tonight. No balls, 2 strikes to Young. Takes inside. It's been a brutal season for Dimitri Young, who in truth is a pretty good hitter, but he has not been this year. He's a switch hitter. Doing well enough from the left side, batting .282. He's batting left-handed now, but as a right-hand batter, only 5 for 43. Whoa. A wild swing. He's down on strikes. 5 strikeouts for Rick Reed. 2 men away. New York Mets baseball is brought to you in part by Infinity. Own one and you'll understand. Skyline will look a little different when Cinergy Field keeps, or finally crumbles down, thanks to the Wreckers ball, and they have a couple of new ballparks replacing it. Chris Steins takes strike 1. This is Steins' first plate appearance as well, as Jack McKeon emptied his bench at the top of the 8th inning.
Well, at one time, this franchise used to draw huge crowds every day.
One time they had one of the best teams in recent memory, that Big Red Machine of the 1970s. That'll pack a place.
Johnny Bench, Joe Morgan, Tony Perez.
That was the first of back-to-back championships. They won the next year as well. And the 0-2 pitch. Bouncer to Ordonez. The side retired. Not much suspense in the score, but we'll see whether or not Rick Reed gets a chance at the first Mets complete game of the year. June 24th is a Senior Citizens Day game. Fans 60 and over can buy mezzanine reserve seats for just $1, and their accompanying guests pay only $10. Tickets must be purchased at Shea Stadium on the day of the games. Hopefully we'll see you out there next Thursday when the Florida Marlins are in town. New pitcher for the Reds as we go to the 9th inning, but will there be the same pitcher for the Mets when the Reds hit in the bottom of the 9th? And from the looks of those handshakes, Rick Reed probably through for the evening. He's thrown 101 pitches. That's pretty economical for 8 innings of work.
But he's been under the weather.
Well, he has an 11-2 lead. Again, if you're just joining us, talk about that health problem of Rick Reed's. They suspect kidney stones, urinary tract infection, or a kidney stone.
They say that kidney stone is a very painful thing.
They had Alan Watson ready to go at the start of the game tonight, just in case Rick Reed couldn't make it. And that pain from a kidney stone flares up. It can be tremendously intense. Reed was vulnerable to that really at any time, but was placed on antibiotics last night. Said he felt much better today. Doctors saw him yesterday, put him on that medication last night. So after 8 innings, Dave Wallace congratulating him on a job well done. Ahead 11-2, but Pat Mahomes throwing in the bullpen, so doesn't look like Reed will pitch the 9th. Brian McRae taps to short. Okie Reese throws him out.
Looks like Brian McRae is still favoring that leg he hurt early in the year. Brian in this ball game, everybody else had a home run. He missed 2 and 1 at bat.
Imagine if he'd connected. That would have meant the first 6 batters, assuming everything had stayed the same to Franco, the next hitter, would have gone deep tonight. As it is, the last time the Mets had 3 home runs in the first inning of a game, as they did tonight, was August the 15th of 1985 in Philadelphia. Tom Paciorek, Gary Carter, and Ray Knight connected off of Jerry Koosman, of all people. That's sacrilegious. You can't do that to Koos. Ricky Henderson with 2 long balls tonight.
Henderson, as leadoff hitter, has over 200 home runs.
Matt Franco with a chopper, and Reese takes care of him. So 2 men away. The first 2 Mets have bounced to short. Dennis Reyes restoring some law and order. The Cincinnati Reds pitching staff. 2 outs in the 9th inning, and Roger Cedeno will hit. Coming up tonight at 11 on MSG. Tune in for the full half-hour edition of MSG Sports Desk with host Marv Albert, and then keep informed on the national sports scene. That's later with Fox Sports News. Tonight at midnight on MSG Network. It's more than just a game. Cedeno 3 out of 4 takes a slider for ball 1.
Ricky Henderson has over 270 home runs as a leadoff hitter. It's an incredible statistic.
Not to mention his all-time stolen base record, more than 1,300. 1 ball, 1 strike now to Cedeno, batting from the right side for the first time tonight. So Ricky's been the teacher.
He's had that snatch catch tonight.
And when he hasn't played, he's enjoyed the work of his pupil, Roger Cedeno. Fly ball, center field. Cameron there, and the Mets are retired in order in the 9th inning. Will it be Reed or will it be Mahomes? Reed's already shaking hands. It'll probably be of the game. In this case, don't involve gloves.
Home runs. Home runs. We've had home runs raining tonight. Ricky Henderson in the first inning. John Olerud in the first inning. And the big guy, Mike Piazza, in the first inning. Coors Light plays of the game. It's been raining home runs at Cinergy Field in Cincinnati.
So Pat Mahomes on to work the ninth. Rick Reed throws 101 pitches. Reds get 2 runs, 8 hits off him in 8 innings. So no Met starter this year has worked into the 9th inning yet. But Reed, with pretty impressive performance, particularly in view of his medical situation, as we've discussed a couple of times tonight. Mahomes worked an inning in last night's game. And the rest of the bullpen will be very well rested for the quick turnaround tomorrow. Mark Lewis batting for Dennis Reyes here. 3 balls, 1 strike. Well hit towards the gap in right center. Cedeno over. And there's 1 away. Well, Cedeno covers the ground.
Boy, he does. He covers a lot of ground out there.
1 out in the 9th inning. Fox Sports News comes up tonight following the Mets and the Reds here on Fox Sports Net New York. You get the latest from the National Basketball Association and the Stanley Cup Finals, plus full recap of Major League Baseball and much more, all on Fox Sports News coming up after the Mets game here on Fox Sports Net New York. Foul to the screen by Mike Cameron. 0-1. Cameron nothing out of 3. Sato Yoshi and Steve Paris, pitchers tomorrow. In the air, left field and deep. Henderson to the wall. Gone for a home run.
Well, if they can get Cameron to make contact, he'd be a real good major league hitter. His biggest problem is making contact. How about Ricky Henderson if he brings that ball back in? But Cameron has it all except the problem with the strikeout. Last year struck out over 100 times as a member of the Chicago White Sox. This year, 2nd in the National League. He hits his ball over the left field wall.
Aaron Boone swings and misses, 0-1. But Ricky looks frustrated. It's understandable. Had he made this catch, that would have been a perfect capper to a tremendous night. And he wanted it. Ricky has the 2 home runs. Made that snatch catch, got the attention of the fans earlier. But now the count 1-1 on Aaron Boone. 1 out of 3. Second baseman Lopez. And now the Reds down to their last out. So with 2 out and nobody on, Jason LaRue is making his major league debut here. LaRue saw 1 pitch in his first plate appearance and hit into a double play. He's taking Brian Johnson's spot on the roster. Johnson had successful arthroscopic surgery just this morning, moving some loose bodies in his right knee. LaRue, a real good defensive catcher. Which is to say that he,
you always remember your major league at bat. How about this? Poor guy goes up his major league at bat, hits it to a double play. First AB.
First pitch?
Yeah.
So here he takes ball 1, lets another one go by. A fastball off the outside corner.
Oh, Ricky Henderson having a superb night here in Cincinnati.
That's hit well to center. McCray turned the wrong way, comes back, makes the catch, put it in the box. The Mets have defeated the Cincinnati Reds 11-3 and have even this series at 1 game apiece. Ricky Henderson, 2 of the Mets team record tying 6 home runs in this game. Second time in franchise history. They've gone deep 6 times in a game. All Mets tonight. We'll come back and wrap it up next.